on the 24th of September is Heritage Day, and whether you celebrate it with a braai or in traditional garb, it's a way for South Africans to express their individualism and heritage. South Africans also like to express themselves through the vehicles that they drive. And few vehicles have the kind of heritage that the Toyota Hilux Bakkie has. And I'm here with someone very special to tell us a bit more about that heritage. Mr. Andrew Kirby.
Ernest, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Yeah, thank you for coming to Perspective.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the guided tour. I don't know the area, so what better way to be shown around by the president and CEO himself.
Well, you're welcome.
In a Toyota Hilux, no less. Eh? I've just recently spent some time in the Hilux, and it's the kind of car that really wins people over, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think it's difficult to pinpoint, but Hilux has got quite an impressive history in South Africa. You know, we started with the very first sales of the Stout, which was the predecessor to Hilux, way back in 1961. Started manufacturing the Stout in 1963, introduced the Hilux then in 1969.
Yeah.
So we've been selling Hiluxes 8 generations for 53 years. You know, Hilux has been through a number of phases, and over the years it moved from just being a rugged pickup or bakkie to being quite a refined, sophisticated vehicle. The off-road ability, the drivetrain, the enjoyment of driving the vehicle, but also very practical aspects like the cost of ownership and resale value, which we work really hard on maintaining. It's important, and I think that just makes the whole package such a compelling package.
On a personal note, is it true that you like to go surfing on the weekends?
Actually, I go kite surfing.
Oh, kite surfing. Oh, there's kite surfing. See,
Kite surfing.
I should know the difference. For someone from Cape Town, I should know the difference.
Yes, so I have 2 personal hobbies, mountain biking and kite surfing. So I've been doing kite surfing for almost 18 years, and it does give me a little bit of an adrenaline rush, but it's just such an enjoyable sport. I love being out on the sea. I enjoy the environment, I enjoy the people, so it's a lot of fun.
The Hilux frequently outsells not just its bakkie rivals, but most passenger vehicles as well. It's built right here at the Perspective plant on the KwaZulu-Natal south coast, and Andrew agreed to give me a brief tour of the mammoth facility.
Now, it's quite an interesting history. We had a South African doctor, Albert Wessels, who started Toyota South Africa in 1961. A few years after that, in 1963, he established a manufacturing facility not too far away from our current site in Jacobs. He started building the Stout among some others. In fact, became a multi-brand manufacturing facility.
Wow.
And then in 1971, moved from Jacobs to Perspective, where we are now, to a much larger facility. And then over the years, the facility developed to being only a Toyota factory. And then we added on the passenger models, we added on Hilux, of course, added on our Hino heavy and extra heavy commercial vehicles. And then Toyota Motor Corporation decided that they would buy a portion of the company in 1996. And then we became a 100% wholly owned subsidiary of Toyota Motor Corporation. And then we started exporting vehicles to Europe and Africa, and then grew into a manufacturing operation that was fully integrated into Toyota Motor Corporation's supply chain.
Speaking of production, what exactly is produced over here?
Yeah, we have actually quite an extensive manufacturing base here. We have 4 production lines. So we have our ladder frame production line, which produces Hilux and Fortuner. And then we have a passenger car line, which produces the Corolla Quest and the Corolla Cross. And then we have a separate high-ace taxi production line. And then we have our SKD semi-knockdown production, which produces our truck operations. We have a number of production plants as well that feed into the production line. So it's quite an extensive operation here. We cover 87 hectares on the site.
So for those that aren't aware about the extent of the damage, because we all know you guys have had a bit of a couple of months, how extensive was the damage exactly, and how long did it take you guys to recover?
It was severe. It's really something that was beyond what we would have imagined could have been possible in terms of flooding damage. In fact, Toyota Motor Corporation dispatched their chief executive for disaster management, and he said that this is the most comprehensive damage to a plant anywhere in the world. And I think that was the big challenge for us. It covered our entire 87 hectare site, from about 600 millimeters to 1.8 meters in mud, and it sat here for 8 to 12 hours. So it went into all our machinery, all our electronic components, all the mechanical components, obviously with our offices, administration, IT network. So it was really severe. We had no communication because all the cell phone towers were knocked out by the flooding in the area. We had no fresh water, we had no power. So it was really quite a challenge to get up and running again. By and large, we lost 72,000 vehicles, production-wise. It's taken us almost 4 months to recover. But quite honestly, in retrospect, I think that was probably quicker than what we had thought we would take to recover. So we're very grateful.
So from that perspective, what exactly did you need to do to get that recovery process going and get the plant back up and running again?
It was quite a process. I think we learned as we went along. We had tremendous support from the affiliates, Toyota affiliates from all over the world. They sent us people from Europe, from Thailand, from Japan. We had fantastic support from our local suppliers. We also sent a lot of support to help us on site. Our employees were tremendous. They all got involved in helping us with cleanup, helping to identify what equipment needed to be replaced, obviously for repairs. And by and large, it was really impressive to see people standing up and doing jobs, taking ownership for areas that they would not normally have been involved in. So we're very grateful.
Autonomous driving, sustainable manufacturing, all of these buzzwords are all over our industry. So what is Toyota going to be doing over the coming years to plug into that mindset, to be part of that journey in South Africa?
Well, I think this is one of the biggest challenges we face. How do we ensure that we transition as a local manufacturing sector to what is happening globally? There are enormous disruptive trends, and we have to think very carefully about how we transition and make sure that we can secure our future manufacturing base. It's not just about selling electric vehicles, for example, or self-driving vehicles in the future. It's about how do we make sure that we can build the manufacturing base, sustain jobs, continue to increase local content, and provide an affordable product. We also are following a very diverse technology strategy. We don't believe there'll just be one technology solution. For example, battery electric vehicles. We know that within the new energy vehicle range, that all of them have a part to play. So for example, our Corolla Cross Hybrid has been enormously successful. I mean, who would have thought that 6 months after launch we'd have a 50% back order on the hybrid variant. So hybrids, plug-in hybrids, even fuel cell vehicles, because they do have advantages in certain circumstances over battery electric vehicles, for example. So we're going to be looking at providing a diverse range of technologies. Different size vehicles will do better with different technologies.
Where did you grow up and how did you end up going, you know what, I'm going to be the CEO and president of Toyota?
No, that never entered my mind. I can assure you. I grew up in the Eastern Cape. Finished high school in Pretoria. Studied mechanical engineering at UCT, and then joined the mining industry, and thereafter eventually joined the automotive industry. And as an engineer, I started on the sales and marketing side, in the service department, and over years I've had the opportunity to work overseas in America, in Japan. I've had the opportunity to travel and do so many different jobs.
So when you see a young up-and-coming Thundercat in technical services, do you ever feel like just saying, you know what, this is the same journey that I was on?
No, that's certainly happened multiple times. And often my advice to young people is to look at staying first of all in one sector, because if you can stay in that industry, you can develop tremendous competencies over time.
Becoming an expert.
Instead of moving industries. And the second piece of advice I have is to look at rotating into multiple different jobs, not necessarily being promoted, but rotating laterally to get a broad width of experience.
Mr. Andrew Kirby, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for showing me around this incredible facility. I wish you and your team Godspeed for the rest of the recovery process. So far, things are going according to the new plan.
Thank you. Really appreciate you being with us, Ernest. Of course, we don't know what the future holds, but we'll just pray that we're ready for it.